Good morning, students. Today we are going to learn adaptive resonance theory based neural networks, that is ART. These neural networks fall under unsupervised kind of learning and follow the competitive learning rule. Actually, the earlier neural networks based clustering or grouping of the patterns was striving with two major problems, or you can say single dilemma, that is called stability plasticity dilemma. What actually this dilemma is that suppose take example of our Conan neural network. There were four clusters to be formed using the Cohen self-organizing map or any other clustering algorithm, and a new pattern comes, that is pattern P. Now all these clusters compete to have this pattern P. It was similar with 1% to cluster number 1, with 0.5% with cluster number 2, with 2% with cluster number 3, and with 1.5% with cluster number 4. So the pattern P was 1% similar to cluster number 1, 0.5% similar to cluster number 2, 2% similar to cluster number 3, 1.5% similar to cluster number 4. Or you can say it was 99% dissimilar with this cluster, 99.5% dissimilar with this cluster, and so on. So we can consider it in either way. Now, what exactly will your Cohen self-organizing map do? It will find a winner out of these four cluster units, and this pattern, it will going to settle where the least, or you can say least dissimilar or maximally similar. So this one is the most similar one. So this pattern will be matched to cluster number 3. Now this is all your Cohen self-organizing map will do. But now think logically. Whether we can say that if some face is 2% similar, and then we can we surely say that this face is of that person, that girl, that boy, Ram or Sham? Can we say it? Not at all. We are not confident about it, and we just cannot conclude whether this 2% similarity can be concluded as the identification of a particular face. So your Cohen self-organizing map as well as other clustering algorithms will not be stable in learning. Or suppose this was the nature of your cluster number 3, that is this one C3, and the new pattern may be here. What your KSOM is doing, that it will put this pattern in this cluster, and along with that it will update the weights connected to this cluster also. So it will result in unlearning of the previously learned pattern, or you can say previously the patterns which were belonging to this cluster may be unlearned or may go to some other clusters in near future. So this is the stability concern with your earlier clustering algorithms. So the previously learned pattern will be unlearned, or you can say will be just disturbed, as the number of patterns are getting more and more for clustering process. So this process, overall process, is called stability, and the deserved one or the required property is that our network should be stable enough. Our clustering algorithm should be stable enough. Once learn the things, it should not let it disturbed. It should not let the previously learned pattern within a cluster to belong to other clusters with the progression of time. So this property is called stability, which is not being followed by many of the earlier clustering algorithm. The second one, which is the plasticity, says that our network should be strong enough, should be able enough to adapt towards the newly coming patterns. It should be able to learn their weights also. It should be able to cluster without disturbing the previously learned patterns. So this is our stability plasticity dilemma, which was being which was not being followed by our earlier algorithm or earlier clustering algorithm. So this ART provides a solution for your both stability as well as plasticity problem. The ART networks for enforcement of your stability and plasticity dilemma includes or considers a term that is called your vigilance parameter. The function of your vigilance parameter is to keep a tab upon the minimal similarity with which a pattern should be considered for belongingness to a particular cluster. For example, if I try to just put this example to be solved using ART, then we can have our vigilance parameter may be equal to 0.6. 0.6 means it says that a pattern P will be given to a cluster C1, C2, C3 or C4 if and only if it is 60% similar to centroid of that cluster, or if it belongs at least with 60% magnitude to a particular cluster. Then it doesn't matter whether a particular cluster is winning or not. If the winning cluster is having similarity less than 60%, then it will not be given to that cluster, but that cluster will be discarded, and again a competition will be generated amongst the rest clusters for claiming the same pattern again. And in next phase also, if the winner cluster is again having similarity less than 60%, then the same process will be repeated, and this cluster also will be negated or will be put out of the competition. So there are two conditions. Winnability is there for a must, but along with winnability, the similarity between the winning cluster and the pattern to be cluster should be at least 60%. So this is the function of your vigilance parameter. Now let us go to the architecture of our ART networks. ART network can be seen as constitution of three layers: input layer, then input interface layer, then your output layer. Some of the connections in this network are still missing or are yet to be drawn because the overall network design is, you can say, very cumbersome, and it will also be very complex. So I just draw some part of it. Now let us try to understand it part by part. There are three layers. First one is your input layer. The input layer contains n number of neurons. As you all know that this n depends upon how many dimensional is our input. So input patterns are distributed over n dimensions. This is your input interface layer. Means after input goes there in the input interface, the input is distributed to each neuron present in our output layer, which contains m number of neurons. Means this m is the number of cluster we want to have for our oral pattern set. So there are m number of clusters. The input interface unit, each neuron is connected to each neuron in your output layer. So again, these weights are being shown using U. U means upward. There are other weights also which are connecting from your output unit to your input interface unit. Those weights will be termed as D. D means your downward weights. D stands for downward, U stands for upward weights. So in this diagram we have just drawn our upward weights. So every neuron in input interface layer is connected to every output neuron. It is named as U11, means output number 1 is connected with input 1 and hence named 11. Output number 1 is connected with your input neuron I, hence named U of 1I, and on the similar lines U of 1M means first neuron of the output layer connected with your nth neuron. Actually what it is, nth. This is your n, not m. This is m. So this is n and not m. And in the same way, this is again your u of m1, means mth neuron of your output layer connected with first neuron of your input layer, and this one mth neuron of your output layer connected with your nth input. So these are its vectors, w of m, w of 1, w of I. These all weights, the upward going weights, can be looked as a matrix U, which contains m number of rows, means as there are m number of neurons in the output layer, and then n number of columns, which are equal to the number of neurons in your input layer. So this row denotes this vector, this row denotes this vector, and so on. So this is all about representation of your upward weights. In the similar lines, there are downward weights.
Oh.
So these were your upward weights. Now let us talk about the downward weights. Just for clarity, I have drawn it as a separate architecture, but this is, you can say, just superimposed upon this. This is the same part of this. So there are again two layers. This is your input interface layer, this is your output layer. We talked about your upward weights in this figure. Your downwards weights are in this figure. This is your input interface layer, this is your output layer. Now each of your output layer neuron is connected to every neuron in your input interface layer. So these are various connections, means O1 connected with I1, II up to I of n. There were m number of clusters to be formed, and the input patterns were of n features, or they were distributed over n dimensions. So this weight, that is D11, denotes connection between neuron number 1 to your cluster number 1. This denotes the weight D of 1i between your input number 1 and cluster number I. This denote D, that is D1m, denotes connection between, or the weight of the edge, that is between the first neuron in your input layer and mth neuron of your output layer, or your mth cluster. In this way, these all weights are connected, and this can be represented using matrix D. Obviously, matrix D is going to be of dimension n cross m, means n number of input neurons are connected with your m number of output neurons. So this D, and this first row gives your weight vector this one, this second row gives your weight vector this one, and your nth row gives your weight vector for nth input neuron. So these are two kind of weight matrices, that is D, and earlier studied was equal to capital U. So these two matrices are used by your adaptive resonance theory based neural networks to enforce stability within the learning process. Now let us further try to understand the architecture of your ART network. We already know that this is your input layer, input interface layer, and one is your output layer. Now one layer that still remain undiscussed is your reset layer. Reset is the most important layer of your ART neural network. What is its function? First of all, it is connected with all your input. It is connected with your all of your inputs, and along with this it is also connected with your input interface layer. Every neuron in your input interface layer is also connected with this reset layer. The function of reset layer is to make use of your vigilance parameter to decide whether the winning cluster and a pattern are satisfying the minimal similarity condition or not. If they are satisfying, then the reset layer will let the network learn. If it is not satisfying, then it will just put the winning neuron out of competition for the next phase. Now let us be little bit more specific. Suppose a pattern P comes, S of P comes, and S of P contains S1 as feature value for first feature, Si for ith feature, and Sn for nth feature. And let us suppose these two matrices D and earlier matrix U were initialized. They are already having certain values, means these all edges are having certain weights associated with them. Now this input will go to this layer, your input interface layer, where it will be distributed to all your output layer neuron. Now there will be a competition, or this layer is also called your competition layer. A competition will be there between O1, OI, OM, means all neurons in the output layer will compete to have this pattern P. These all cluster units from O1 to O1, OM will compete for the pattern P. Based upon certain function, based upon certain calculations, which we look in near future. Now suppose they all competed and one out of them is the clear winner. Suppose ith neuron in the output layer is our winner neuron. Now this winner neuron along with your input will go to this reset layer. The reset layer will decide by calculating a similarity function that how much similar is this pattern I with your pattern, how much similar is this cluster I with your pattern SP. If they are similar by the vigilance parameter percentage, that let it be vigilance parameter VP, if their similarity S is greater than or equal to your vigilance parameter, if their similarity is greater than or equal to your vigilance parameter, then this pattern will be given to cluster number I. Further, the neural network will be given the freedom to learn about the new pattern. Now we already know how the neural network learn, just by updating the weights. So ith neuron was the winner. It will update its weight. What kind of weight? Whether upward weight or the downward weight, they will be updated using some formulation we'll look in near future. So the winning neuron will update its weight once it is having similarity greater than your vigilance parameter. Now consider the other case. Now suppose this similarity was less than your vigilance parameter. In that case, this neuron ith cluster, this one will be just put out of the race. It will not be allowed to compete in the next phase. So this is the function of your reset layer, to put it out of competition, and in next phase the remaining O1 up to OM except ith cluster will compete to have pattern P. And once again there will be a winner. The winner plus your input will go to reset layer. The reset layer will again decide whether it is following the similarity criteria or not. If it is following the criteria, then the pattern will be given to that winning cluster, along with its weights will also be updated. Otherwise, that neuron again will be put out of competition, and remaining neurons will be fighting for claiming the pattern P. So this is the overall functioning of your adaptive resonance theory based neural networks. Actually there are two versions, ART1 and ART2. ART1 works for the binary kind of patterns where the input and the output both are binary in nature, and your ART works for the other kind of input output parameters, other kind of input and output patterns. So in the next class we will try to have an example by putting algorithm and flowchart first for this ART network. So thank you.